Hello, welcome to another episode of Sit Down by the Fire. I'm with John Zerocool. Eric will hopefully be joining us shortly. I would knock on wood, but I don't want the dogs to bark up a storm. But why don't you tell a little bit about your channel?
Well, this channel here, the Zero Cool, has been up since October 17. And for the past few years, just been, doing content like reviews, maybe a commentary here and there, live streams. But prior to this channel, I was Zero Cool 1389, I believe. And, what happened there and why that channel went away was because of YouTube. And I was accused of deceptive content, misleading thumbnails, and stuff of that nature. And I got pissed for a little bit. And I'm like, well, that's not going to stop me. I'm going to come back. But that I've been around for a while, and
Yeah,
we were just talking about it beforehand about that, like how long you've known me and stuff like that.
yeah, you've had a couple different channels on YouTube. I don't remember. I don't even remember the first channel's name.
Action
Um,
Fan 89.
there you go. Uh, I just remember you did a RoboCop thing where you're like, who's going to direct it? Who's going to do the score? You probably did what because at that time, it was different from a lot of YouTubers at that time. You did a peaceful rant about the RoboCop remake because at that time, 2007, that was the angry YouTube tubers,
Well, I think it was a little bit
and
after that. I think it was like around the time the remake was coming out, right? 2013.
because I think I was still in high school and I graduated in 2011. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I we're dating here. We are. We're dating ourselves. I don't even remember, but you you definitely. I guess it's one thing that I got to appreciate about you is you've had different channels, but you've never given up. And
Mhm.
just despite the one that got falsely deleted on YouTube,
Yeah.
um, because you, I mean, made a you made a joke of I think you did something with Gone with the Wind, right? And then that's what got you deleted or something.
I don't think so. I think I kind of know what you're talking about. Something about they try to ban it or something, and I made a
Yeah.
video about that, and it was like a short video, and I think it may have gotten flagged, but I don't think that was the reason why.
Well, because it seems
Um,
like I'm just saying it seems like it happened right after that.
okay, wait, so now the more I think about it, I think that video you're referring to was like that was a weird time because in September of 17, I was living with my cousin, and a situation where happened where I had to move out. It wasn't my nothing I did, they did, and from September 17, I moved back home for a little bit, and that was around that time, October of 17, and
Right.
that's when the channel got taken down. So you're in that time frame. You're right on. So that's how long this channel has been around since October of 17.
Yeah.
So time wise, you're on the money.
Yeah. Well, sorry for the background noise,
No
folks.
problem.
But but I mean,
Hmm.
But yeah, no, you got your. It was very interesting because you did a lot of. I mean, I don't want to say controversial video, controversial videos around that time,
Mhm.
but you. I mean, looking back, you did seem very angry,
Yeah,
and now you put it in perspective. So,
I think it's one of those things too. It's like it was about location too, because where I was sometimes, depending where I lived, I couldn't get so angry because I wasn't the only one in the house. So it's like I would say over the past few years, I've gotten less angry about stuff. If that makes sense, I still get pissed off if I watch a bad movie. Like yesterday, that I watched a Vanilla Sky with Tom Cruise, and I'm like, oh my god, I was waiting for this to be over, and then today watching this other movie, Satan's Little Helper, and I'm starting to question why am I watching these movies, and it's just
mhm.
so I don't, I guess I just like in regards to my videos and content. I mean, yeah, lately I don't really. I'll do rants, but you're not going to see me like destroy a shelf or tear apart some window blinds like I did in a rant for Speed 2 um, that I remember doing.
But well, I mean, that's the thing is with me. Like, I don't know. We there are a lot of bad movies out there, but we get less angry with them because I mean we know
Mhm.
what's going on. But it's just like, okay, well, fine, let them appease their ESG score, and because but and then even there's some movies that are just bad even back then, but it's like, okay, I think you can at least get some enjoyment out of them. Like at
Mhm.
least Vanilla Sky, like, hey, how many movies can you say have Kurt Russell and Tom Cruise in them, right?
That's true, but in that movie as well, Tom Cruise is like a step away from looking like Robert Zadar with his face reconstruction, and I'm like, and it's trying to be this over convoluted romance story that was overlong, and I'll talk. And I'm working on a review for that. If I can put together what happened in the movie, because it's very uh, confusing even for me. But I mean, you're not going to really see me get angry. Like, for example, some years ago, I took the Leprechaun set and I destroyed it with an axe. I mean, you're not going to really see me do that anymore. Or beat VHS tapes with a bat. I'm not going to go that route anymore. So,
Well, those made some of your best videos though when you would do stuff like that.
oh, there's still a video on my channels my brother put together, credit to him, but it was a reaction to the Ghostbusters trailer in 2016. And I took
Mhm.
a 9 iron to a DVD of the Total Recall remake and busted that to pieces. I
Yeah,
got, I need help. I'm sick. I am a sick individual. And I will say that
yeah.
here.
You
Used
need
to be.
to. I mean, those did make some of your best videos though. Taking a 9 iron or a bat to some of the stuff. I guess your brother we just need to release a compilation of the
Yeah.
of all that stuff, right?
Some of those things are lost though, because I had a desktop that crashed back in like 2015 or something like that. I mean, so yeah, a lot of those videos are, big. Some videos were saved. Some are up here on the channel in YouTube. You can find them, but some of the destruction videos you're not going to find anymore.
Uh, well, I enjoyed watching those. Those were always fun. One of the things I did enjoy too, your little podcast you would do with Studio Red Van. Shout out Matt Thomas.
Yeah, Matt Thomas is a cool guy.
I suffer from insomnia, and those little podcasts you do on that old channel would actually help me go to sleep a lot. So,
Yeah, and yeah, Matt's a great guy. Which,
not to say that you're boring, but just the sound, So,
yeah, I mean,
always,
I've known Matt since like 2015, I believe. 2015, yeah, 2015, and I don't know, like, I'm best friends from Matt Rambaraf, Fabio, not Wild Man Beyond, and I can give everybody a shout out here. But Matt's a fun cat. I mean, it's something, and he has his own thing going where he's a big Stallone fan, and that really comes through in our discussions and stuff. And but yeah, I mean, we're supposed to get up a little bit more. I mean, we're gonna record this new show, The Craven Files, whenever we can. Our availability right now is a little bit up in the air. But yeah, what were you saying? Okay, or I could keep talking. It's up to you. But yeah, I mean, Matt's a cool guy, but I would love to, talk to Fabio again and Matt, and I know they got stuff on their plate, with Matt fulfilling requests and all that good stuff. And
okay. Yeah, you know that you guys would just talk movie news, stuff like that. And I know that's been talked about on your channel too, to bring maybe a little bit of that back, maybe, and doing the Craven Files that you guys used to do.
Oh yeah, the Craven. So basically, what the Craven Files is, wait, maybe 3 years ago or whatever, but no, I forget. I don't know the time on that, but we were doing this show called Jack's Notes. That it's basically talking about unmade projects, stuff that never, like movies that never were, and this is sort of bringing that back. But Jack Craven, who inspired that, is like, can you change the name? So I'm like, okay, what do you want to name it? It's based on you, like the information that you're giving us. So we're now calling it the Craven Files. And we were supposed to record last week an episode like The Return. Yeah, but me and Matt's schedules, really can't meet up at the moment. So we're trying to figure that out. But that is coming up soon. At some point this month we will, but I just can't say or know when.
Yeah, the interesting thing about doing, a web show, podcast, whatever you want to call these that we do.
Mm-hmm.
Doing it with somebody who is in a different time zone, and everything else, and because you're in one of the Carolinas, and Matt Thomas is in Canada, so
which is funny because we have the same time zone.
Yeah,
Me and him were in the same time zone, but
it's just scheduling and all that other stuff too. It's interesting sometimes. But you've also, I mean, obviously you have an interest in filmmaking. Have you ever, and you've made your own documentary, have you ever thought about doing other stuff, like maybe actually making a movie, actually making a picture?
it's funny because I've done like little short movies in my backyard, but that was like years ago. I'm gonna guess when I was like 14, 15.
Yeah.
Now, would I want to do that? Probably not, like on a big scale, um, because I think I have more fun doing this. Where, if I went in that direction, uh, I don't know. I think I would just lose my mind, if that
Yeah.
makes. Or it's not to say that I wouldn't have fun, or I wouldn't be willing to learn, but to work with uh, the higher ups. I don't know if that's something that
I,
I'd rather just kind of want to stick to this.
yeah, maybe. I mean, I guess what you're saying is more stick with the independent route. Maybe if you make a picture, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's something that I haven't really explored. It's weird
Yeah.
because I love talking about movies, but it's a totally different thing than uh,
Hmm.
you know like going out into the field of making movies.
Yeah.
I know that's
Um,
weird.
yeah. One of the things I remember you talking about on your channel, you used to work in a movie theater. Do you have any interesting stories?
Um,
Like,
I got a couple.
obvi- I mean, obviously, you're going to get the lovebirds and all those stories probably. But do you want to share any of those funny stories maybe that you experienced at the movie theater?
When I was an usher, yeah, there was one time when I was told that there was a couple of kids outside on the between the theater and the fence. What was going on? I know eventually what happened. But
Kid,
basically we went out to check. Like a couple of kids were hanging around in the alleyway, and it's like basically like a little space between the theater and this chain fence.
right?
And all I saw was a guy standing up. There were teenagers, and a girl was on her knees blowing this guy. I didn't see anything like that, but you could tell what was obviously happening. And
Right.
their parents were notified. They got picked up there by their parents. So
Had to make that walk of shame. But
yeah. And then
um,
and then when I was a projectionist, there's a story of when Iron Man 2, I think, was out. Or was it Iron Man? It was Iron Man 2 because it's 2010, right? So I threaded I used to thread the projectors too. And something happened. I didn't do it correctly somewhere, and I didn't thread it through the right whatever. And the movie effed up like in the first 5 minutes, and all you could see was like 150 people walk out of the theater. So
yeah. Um, reminds me of that actually reminds me. See, my theater. Um, one of the things that I saw at one of my local theaters is a similar situation, but that was not behind the fence. It was actually at the. It was actually in the movie theater that happened.
I didn't see that.
Somebody.
Luckily, just people on their cell phones.
Yeah, you get that, and you still get that. That's one of the things that just drives me nuts. Is like anytime I go to the movie theater, I let some important people know saying, "Hey, I'm going to be at the movie theater. My phone's going to be off."
Mhm.
You know, like luckily I don't have to worry about that too much because I don't have any crazy girlfriends at crazy girlfriends now doing something like that, like freaking out because I'm not answering their text messages.
Mhm.
I mean, no, I've always wanted to do that work at a movie theater. I've always applied, but they've never got a call back. Um, was overall that a fun job, or would you go back, or no?
No. I mean, unless when I worked there for a couple of years, I mean, it's basically for high schoolers, and you weren't getting paid much. I mean, now that I mean, I have a job, maybe it would be, but I don't know if I would go back. I mean, it was fun for there, for the little bit out that I was there. I would say the most fun that I had was doing projection. I mean,
Mhm.
it's crazy when you're up there and you're given like the way that they were doing it back then. This is back in like 2010 or 11. They give you a list of all the show times, and if five movies started at 7, let's say, then by 7 o'clock you had to have five projectors ready, all threaded through the reels and all that stuff, ready to play at 7. You would start one up, and then you would run to the other projector and start number 11, whatever's playing at 7, start that up. Then you have to run to the other projector. And so that was fun a little bit. It was crazy, but it was fun. So,
Yeah. Um, I don't.
man, by the way, the whole projection room was like the shape of a T. You have one long hallway like this, and it stretched out left and right. And
Hmm,
upstairs was like 15 projectors.
hmm. What? So was this a Regal or an AMC or what was this?
It was a AMC, I believe.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, no. We no. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I always thought it'd be fun to work in a movie theater. Maybe I could see you working back there if you get a management position, right?
Or it'd be like, because I have a main job right now. If anything, it would be for extra money.
Right.
But that's it. I mean, I don't know but I don't know how much they pay now. I don't know if I would go back. It's one of those things like it was fun for the little time that I was there. I don't know
Right.
who's in charge now. It's different
Um,
management. A lot of people that work there are not
you know,
in my age. I mean, they're
one of the
younger than
things one of the things I've been actually trying to tell people that I think would be really fun to do. They made a Spirit Halloween, little kitty horror movie.
me.
I don't know if you remember hearing about that last year.
Yeah, well, Christopher Lloyd's in it. I saw the trailer for that.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
One of the things that I was thinking about, I was trying to get people's first thoughts about this. What would you think about a blockbuster video horror movie?
That'd be cool.
And you could actually think about it for marketing. You could actually, if you get permission, you could actually get permission to film it in the last blockbuster.
I'm
And then
surprised they haven't done that yet.
exactly. Well, I thought about that. You know what? That could be kind of fun because think about it. That could obviously go for the nostalgia.
Yeah.
But then you could actually even advertise something that you did something that Disney did not do with Captain Marvel. You actually filmed in the last blockbuster.
Yeah, exactly. And it would make
Like
for a fun premise for sure.
like so I've been trying to get YouTubers stuff about that. Like, what would you? Okay, like let's say I don't know. Hypothetically, let's just say A24 came to you, Zero Cool.
Oh
We want you to
gosh.
make a. We want you. I said the first low budget studio that came to my head. What would you do if they came to you and said, "We want you to do a blockbuster video horror movie"? What would you pitch to them?
Um well, the first thing I would have I was just thinking about the tagline for that, and I think my tagline would be "You can't kill physical media."
There you go.
That'd be one of them, maybe. I don't know. Maybe you could have where the idea for the story or plot is where people are locked inside a blockbuster. Maybe you could have it sort of like The Mist, which I haven't seen still, but maybe there's like an outside force that are keeping these people inside blockbuster and they can't get
Mhm.
out. and they're trying to fight this outside force. Maybe it
Um,
could be like a well, you say A24, so it has to be some sort of, I would say, for one, don't put any artsy fartsy stuff in it. But I don't know. That's kind of like, would A24 even do that?
I don't know. I just said the first studio that came, low budget horror studio that came to my head. I
Maybe
mean,
Blumhouse. It sounds like a Blumhouse.
I mean, I don't know even know if I would really want Blumhouse to do it, just because. I mean, listen. I mean, say what you want about the Halloween
Lionsgate.
movies, Lionsgate maybe, but no. I don't know. The idea that people seem to be liking, although I don't know how, I don't know, is DVD here yet though? When we because they're talking about like the idea of a, the Rain had a cursed VHS tape, and then now the people who I've been talking to like wanting a cursed DVD from the last Blockbuster, but like, is DVD really even there yet to have like a cursed DVD? You know what I mean?
I don't know. The one thing that really struck me on this topic was that I went to Target today, and they've really gotten rid of their physical selection. Like,
First of all, shame on you for going to Target. Uh,
well, I just looked around. I didn't really.
yeah,
The only thing
well,
I bought was a snack, and that was it. But other than that, I don't go to Target much.
that's probably a good thing.
But
Uh,
I don't know. Like when I went in there, it's like, and I know it was during the day, but I was like, is there anybody alive in this place? Like I
well,
remember when Target used to be like booming a
well,
little.
well, that's what you get for appeasing your ESG score. So,
Yeah,
um,
I was just shocked to see like just how very little DVDs and even just
mhm,
Blu-rays. Like it was like one shelf and that was it.
right.
But I don't go to Target much anyways, so
Yeah, but it would be really kind of cool. Maybe, like, what if they did something like this since it's no longer exists anymore? What about a cursed HD DVD?
they might. I don't know would the people flock to that?
I don't know. Well, that's why I think that it's probably like a. See, I can't even find the Spirit of Halloween movie, and I'm curious about. Like, I'm not expecting cinematic greatness. Like, I think what I'm expecting is like a '80s sort of horror kids movie. There's,
Mhm.
I don't think I could see that being a. Like, I don't really do movie reviews anymore on my channel, but if I did review it, I don't see that being a rant. You know what I mean?
It's yeah, you're talking about the movie. Yeah, I saw like a preview for it and I'm like, okay, you got Christopher Lloyd in there, but this seems
Yeah.
like a movie that would just come and go.
Right.
Like it's a neat
But
idea. I mean, it's not a terrible idea to have it take place in Spirit Halloween, but
yeah, I mean, I will. And here's my thing too: if they make a blockbuster video horror movie, think about it. If it's successful enough, like let's say you shot it for like, I don't know, like $100,000, and it makes millions. You never know. I mean, it could easily, maybe bring, at least Blockbuster could open up a second location or something. You never know.
and then again, Blockbuster is a bigger name than Spirit Halloween.
Right.
And Spirit Halloween
Um,
only comes around once a year, right? I mean,
right. And even then, like and even then, since COVID, they don't really come to areas close to me. All the other areas that it comes to are about an hour or so away from me.
Mhm.
When so, but no, that's something that I've been trying. I've been actually thinking about. I've actually emailed the lady who owns the last Blockbuster. No callback yet about doing a Blockbuster video horror movie, but I want to get like stuff about what people would do with it.
I'm
But you
willing to bet.
mentioned,
I'm willing to bet that you're not the only one who's thought about this, or maybe she's gotten a lot of other pitches about hey, let's make this movie that's going to go straight to Tubi, and about, I don't know, The Last Stand at Blockbuster.
Yeah. Am oh probably. But um. By the way, what you know? I remember one time on your channel you reacted to Amityville in space.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, don't you think it? I think that's and we did that stream. How I told you there are like 56 Amityville movies, and
Yeah.
apparently they're even working on another one. So now there's 57 Amityville movies. I guess it's not official, but isn't it? Do you just find what are your thoughts about that? That Amityville is now maybe let's just say unofficially the highest number in a movie franchise.
I would say there's 55 too many of them.
I mean, have you even seen what Amityville movies have you seen?
I've seen bit parts of the first one, and that's it. I mean, I have the first one on Blu-ray.
The second one is good. The first two were good. I will say this. There are some Amityville movies that are really. There are some Amityville movies that are really okay. For the budget, they're okay. But then there's some of them that I actually think you would probably get your 99 back and maybe destroy the DVD. And that would be your review.
I have a bat somewhere in here. I'm sure I could take that vacuum cleaner to it.
Yeah. I mean, there's some of them, though, where you could do something like that because there are some of them that are just like, dang.
I have a feeling that, I mean, my brain cells are starting to dwindle. I have to try and retain whatever brain cells that I have left. So, and sorry if I'm like coming off tired here. It's just I've been up like since 5 o'clock this morning, and I think it's starting to hit. But I'm okay. I mean, I could go for a little bit here.
Yeah, Eric said that he will be actually joining us soon.
Okay.
He has to get like I said, stuff with the dog and everything else. But yeah. So what? I don't know. Like, what do you think? As far as like just movies in general, what's I mean, obviously safety obviously need to not appease their ESG score, but like even if we have to have all the stuff they're pushing for, I think we're in agreement. We just want better stories. We just want stories that we actually care about, like what we grew up with as kids, and I think that there's I don't know how to really put it. Like maybe we just want stories that like we don't care what like what the color of the person's skin or the character. We just want culturally appropriate casting.
Yeah.
I mean, and I mean, well, here, zerocool. Your hair. What's your heritage? Where your ethnicity and everything. Where do you? I don't know if you really know that, but
I'm problematic white.
No. What? I mean, well, like if you're German, for instance, okay, and then you cast a black guy as your ancestor, it's like you're going to be pissed. It's like no, that's more what people are getting at. And
only if it's Samuel Jackson.
What or Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, one of the two. Yeah,
Um,
that's
no,
that's what I would.
or as long as you can get a rematch with Will Smith and Chris Rock in it, right?
Right.
Um, man, I still find it so funny that Chris. Did you actually get a chance to see the Chris Rock special where he annihilated Will Smith?
Yeah, I've seen parts of it, and
Oh
apparently he's
my,
directing a. I don't know if you heard about this, but he's directing a Martin Luther King movie produced by Spielberg. It was just announced today.
Chris Rock?
Yeah,
He's directing it?
I can look it up again, but I thought I saw that.
Huh.
As a matter of fact, I have. Let me
But
see.
I did not see that.
I thought I saw something like that.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, Variety. According to Variety, Chris Rock to direct Martin Luther King biopic, Spielberg to executive produce.
well, hopefully it'll be better than Selma.
Maybe. I haven't seen Selma, so I haven't. I don't know much about that.
Selma was okay. It just didn't. It just didn't feel like a Martin Luther King movie. Is the weird thing about it, but it's a biopic. I don't know how to describe it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I just, for me personally, David Oyelowo, however you're supposed to pronounce his name. Remember, I'm a Dumbo American. I can't pronounce foreign names, so um, I think the only reason he was casted was because he looked like Martin Luther King, and like, yeah, you might look the part, but you also have to act the part,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I just didn't buy him as Martin Luther King. And Martin Luther King is obviously one of my. I mean, he's one of my heroes, honestly, because I mean, what he stood for, and I just to cast that type of role, I don't even. You would have to almost get an unknown. I would think,
Yeah.
Um, but has Chris Rock even directed anything before?
I don't think. Um, let's see. I don't think he has. I can look it up real quick.
Yeah, well, because that would be quite the directorial debut.
Head of State. He directed Head of State.
I don't know if I remember that one.
And he also directed I Think I Love My Wife in 2007.
I think I remember that one.
Let me see. Yeah, he directed that one.
Okay, well, so um, I don't know. That's just interesting. I don't know. Um, but you wanted
That's in a comment.
okay. Hold on. We got a message and okay. But so yeah, no. You said you wanted to save something when we talked before we're in the back. You wanted to talk about some our experiences with John Avenger.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I have my experience with him. He where it was. I just it was interesting because I, you know, I was in the, I was just, hanging out, talking. I think he was doing it with, he was doing a live commentary for
Hmm.
Mission Impossible, one of them. I don't remember which one.
Mm-hmm.
It was either Fallout or like Rogue Nation. It was one of the two. And he talked about
I just
Black Panther.
you made me think of like for John Avenger to do a commentary. That's a possible mission there.
Oh yeah, it definitely
That's an
was
impossible
because
mission to bear through.
it was because first of all, I mean, John Avenger is, let's put it this way. He's not exactly, I'm not good looking, but John Avenger, okay, trigger warning joke here for people who might not understand a joke. When God made John Avenger, God took a dump that day.
Probably.
Because you see this guy? I mean, I don't even know if you were a good looking baby. Okay. And by the way, folks, we're just bashing a troll. I mean, that's what he basically is. Come on, right? He's a troll that makes videos.
Well, I haven't run into him in a while, but I mean, there's always that story. The last time I saw him, where he was blasted on Twitter. There's that.
Yeah. Well, so as I was saying with my story, I was interacting with him, and he said how he saw Black Panther 3 times in the theater, and he cried. And I'm like, I just told him, well, I did not really like Black Panther because essentially Black Panther is the Moses story, brother versus brother, even if it's, and adopted brothers at that, because that's basically what Moses is. It's the Moses story, and it's just kind of not really done the best.
Mm-hmm.
He blocked me, and then my at the time girlfriend, now ex-girlfriend.
That's not very Avenger-like.
I know. Then came to me. Oh, she then the next day he did the following Mission Impossible. I was sitting there doing all this stuff, Basically, she said I was trying to get you unblocked. I told her, well, I really appreciate it, but it's no big deal. It doesn't really matter because I think it's more funny. And so, but he literally blocked my girlfriend at the time for literally saying she loves me. I'm like, so he's probably so. But no, you've had some very interesting even run-ins on YouTube with even trolls. You want to tell any of your troll stories that are just interesting? I mean,
I think it's more so the more I think about it, and like the more you talk about it, I think it's like more so back then when I had like a lot more anger in my videos. Like it seems like they always come out of the woodwork whenever you're mad about a certain movie that everybody else loves. Because now it's like I don't really have that anger. But with John Avenger, the last time that I've seen his face was on Twitter, and I guess this was around the time The Last Jedi came out. And I saw a video of him, and I'm like, it popped up in my feed, and I'm like, wait a second, I know that's John Avenger. I know his face, and I guess because of The Last Jedi, he had a figurine of Rey from The Force Awakens, and he tore it apart. For some reason, that little video spread it like wildfire on Twitter, to where filmmakers saw this little video, saw John Avenger, and they were picking on him for tearing apart this toy. And so it was being retweeted, and like the director of Upgrade, I forgot his name, but he made fun of John Avenger, and these other filmmakers, writers, actors. And you could probably find it if you go on X, formerly Twitter. You could probably, if you do enough looking around and searching back, you could probably find that video. that's the last time I saw John Avenger, and yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah. Well, you said you even had a incident with an actor too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
we can mention that. I mean, that's fine.
yeah, this is back in like, I'll never forget. This is like early 2013, and this is around the time when they were announcing and probably filming the RoboCop remake. And I made a whole video about why I hate Joe Kinnaman, why he sucks as an actor, and or 10 reasons why Joe Kinnaman sucks. And not too long after that video, I got this private email or private message. This is when back then you could send messages on YouTube, and I missed that. But I got a private message from this actor because I'm like, let me look at his channel because I don't know who this guy is. Turns out he was an actor. Ted Sutton was his name, and you can look him up. Yeah, Ted Sutton. He's been a bit player in several movies where he was some kind of recruiter or military character. He was in G.I. Jane in a blink or miss role. He was in a soap opera, Days of Our Lives or something, or The Young and Restless. He was more, a lot of people know him from the movie Signs with Mel Gibson. He's the guy in the office talking to Joaquin Phoenix. He's the recruiter. That
Oh,
guy. He has a YouTube channel. I don't think he makes videos, but getting back to the message, he sent me like 11 paragraph private message of why I was wrong about Joe Kinnaman. You know, and he's an actor. He understands acting. He's got more clout than I do. And I remember those things. I'm just paraphrasing. But
right.
he went off on a big diatribe about why Joe Kinnaman is, the greatest actor of this generation, and this movie is going to be great. RoboCop remake is going to be uh, the thing that Joe Kinnaman needs, and I'm like, that was mad. Like I couldn't. I tried to reply back to Ted Sutton, and I think like if I remember, because it was a private message, I couldn't reply back. Like it was sent, but I could not reply back because it was sent privately.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, that was. I kind of remember hearing about that, but I just remember that incident, hearing about it. But I'm like, well, where's Ted Sutton now? And Joel Kinnaman,
Yeah,
I mean, as we were talking privately, the RoboCop remake. I think I think its problem was it's just it was a bad script, you know,
yeah,
and I think that was its biggest problem, And Joel Kinnaman, I don't know if I'd say he's the greatest actor of our time. Like he's nowhere, he's not Olivier or Daniel Day Lewis, but he's gotten a little better. Maybe the scripts are just better,
mhm,
or maybe he actually cares, because I think that was
yeah,
the problem with RoboCop. I mean, I think that let's face it. I mean, I think any of us, if we got offered however much money and we got to play RoboCop, it's like, okay, sure, why not, right?
I think any of it. With Joe Kinnaman, I will say in recent years, I've kind of warmed up to a tad because I didn't mind him in the Suicide Squad. And this new movie that he's got coming out with John Woo, it looks
Mm-hmm.
like it could be good.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, 10 years ago, I would have said Joe Kinnaman sucks and F you, Ted Sutton. Like now, there was a point in time where I contemplated, and even like Matt Thomas was pushing me to, hey, you need to talk to Ted Sutton. You got to get him on Skype, pick his brain as to why he loves Joe Kinnaman so much. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it'd be funny. I would just,
Ted,
I would like,
You could interview him.
yeah, I could be like, yeah, you remember back in 2013, you like, well, for one, are you a Joe Kinnaman fan? Do you remember what happened back in 2013? But
that that could just be like the final question, that you ask. Just like how was it working with Mel Gibson? What was M. Night Shyamalan like as a director? And then your final question.
yeah,
um, but um, hmm.
it's one of those things that I used to be more angry at Ted Sutton back at that time when that was happening.
uh,
Nowadays, I'm not as mad as at Ted Sutton.
well, I think that I don't know. It's weird. Like as you get older, it's like when you're around that age that you were, when you started YouTube, and then the age you are now. Like it was a weird time. Like you were about 18 or something, or
Oh
17,
well,
maybe something like that.
2013, I was 23, going on 24.
Okay, but like when you started YouTube.
Yeah, 18, 19. Yeah, and that's weird to say. I can't believe
Yeah.
just to say that. I mean, it makes me feel old.
Yeah. Well, it's a very weird time, like that, the whole, like late teens and then the 20s are just weird. Like you still feel like a teenager, but you're an adult. But now once
Yeah,
you're 30, it's like, wow, I'm an adult,
yeah. It's like something kind of on that topic. It's like, oh, I used to post about that on Facebook back in 2010. Like nowadays, I have Facebook, but I don't really post a lot. I kind of just scroll through and see what people are talking about, and
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those
Yeah.
things where, and this applies to all social media, I guess. I mean, YouTube is, of course, my, the thing now where, I love to talk about movies and stuff, but everywhere else, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not. I'm more quiet, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and I'm with you as far as YouTube. Bring back the private messaging because
Yeah,
you know, um, I wish you could still do that because like there's certain YouTubers that like. See, I don't have Facebook or Twitter or any of that stuff because I actually deleted my Facebook. Um, so
yeah,
and so yeah, we just speak mainly because of just some like I found out it's just some family stuff, and it was so I deleted mine about like 10 years ago, never looked back, and so I didn't have social media for years until I got the YouTube channel and
hmm
started making videos, and you know, but I do wish that they did bring that back, the private messaging, because there's YouTubers that I would absolutely love to collab with. I've been trying to get a hold of one of them, the guy who did that cartoon with Matt
oh
and
yeah,
Tremors, Lucas
Lucas
Green.
Lucas Green, yeah,
Yeah, I've been trying to get a hold of him because I have a great idea for him. That would be fun. That which both properties are public domain, so he could easily do it, and it's something that would really make Disney cringe.
yeah.
But there's nothing they can do about it because it's public domain.
Well, one thing too,
Um,
like you talk about personal messaging, like why is it that you can do it everywhere else but YouTube? You can do it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Like, why is it that now YouTube? I mean, we can't do that anymore.
mhm.
Everywhere else you can.
um, yeah, you know, I know a lot of people in your little YouTube circle, have said that, one of the YouTubers that obviously inspired a lot of people is Angry Video Game Nerd. A lot of people have said that he's lost his touch. Do you kind of agree with that, or?
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, this is going to be a little insane. I don't know if I'm not going to say I never got into Angry Video Game Nerd, but I think it just kind of, maybe I just missed that era, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I guess I kind of put it in perspective with James. I mean, James.
So I don't know much about, AVGN.
Well, his biggest thing about him is I wouldn't say he's lost his touch. It's just he has other priorities. Like YouTube is his job, and that's how he feeds his family. So that's how I look at it. Like, yeah, maybe he's not as good now, but he has other priorities. I mean, your kids come first,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think that's where his stuff is. But no, like, I mean, I guess I get what you're meaning, because like a lot of people, they said, oh, I used to love watching Nostalgia Critic, and like, I never gravitated towards him, mainly because I never thought he was that funny.
Yeah.
And now I heard something like he's about to get canceled again.
The only time that I remember watching him for like a minute or, whatever, was when he did a rant on the Neverending Story 3. And
Yeah.
I chuckled a couple of times at that. But other than that, like, I didn't really pay attention to his stuff. And after that, I just didn't care.
Yeah. I get it. But he just, and now he's like, I don't know if you heard about this. I mean, if all that's true with him, I mean, prayers for him, but he's going through some major health issues, is what he was saying.
I haven't heard about that. That's a first.
Well, something like he just gets drowsy more and more, which I'm like, something like that. I'm not going to say really live what it sounded like, but it sounds like he was getting some, like, he's not that much older than we are, and he was saying he's feeling drowsy more, and he was experiencing memory loss already.
Wow. I haven't heard about that.
Well, he made a video about it. I'm like, I saw the video or something like, I'm like, man, gosh, I mean, he made it public, so, but no, anyway, you said you can, so, sorry Eric couldn't join us. No, he did send me a message, folks, saying that he has to study. He's going to school and everything, so, tonight, but we will, but no, John probably needs to go to bed, so.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, folks. Yeah, I think, last night I slept all right, but there was a couple of times where I kind of stirred about, and I think it's starting to hit me, being up since 5. And
yeah, no, I think they understand. And folks, sorry for any background noise in this whole stuff.
Maybe John Avenger's there in the corner somewhere.
Oh yeah, I'll be sure to tell. I'll be sure to tell the person that or Ted Sutton, right?
Yeah, he's probably in the attic hearing about our conversations about Kinnaman.
Yeah. So by the way, stay tuned for John's channel, where maybe he can reach out to Ted Sutton and interview him.
For people that can see this video, get a hashtag trending. Bring in Ted Sutton. Hashtag bring in Sutton.
Hold on. I'm just curious if this will even work. It works for other YouTubers. If this video gets 100 likes, I'll tell John, and he will reach out to Ted Sutton to be interviewed. Is that a deal?
We'll swing away. As it was said in signs, we'll swing away.
Yeah, so if this gets 100 likes, we will John will find some way to reach out to Ted Sutton and interview him, and then
Yeah.
ask him the question about. Do you remember back in 2013 when you said that Joel Kinnaman was the Lawrence? I think you just need to embellish it. Like, do you remember in 2013 when you messaged a YouTuber privately saying that Joel Kinnaman was the Laurence Olivier of our time? Something like that. Because that's basically what he was saying, right?
Yeah, he would probably deny everything for
Yeah,
one if I go out to him right off the bat.
right. That's why you just end it at the last one, but you like set it up. You say, "What are your thoughts on Joel Kinnaman?"
And be like, well, you don't get any lifelines for this question.
Right? You cannot plead the fifth to this question.
You cannot call a friend or ask the audience.
Right. So yes, stay tuned for that. If this gets 100 likes, John will interview Ted Sutton.
And I promise not to be confrontational. I just want to know deep down, Ted Sutton, do you have a man crush on Joe Kinnaman? You can admit.
Yeah. Hey. I'm 100% a straight man, but even I'll admit, maybe I have a few man crushes. I'm sure you do too, John.
Well, Keanu Reeves maybe, but that's it. I'm just saying.
Maybe Charlton Heston.
That's all you.
Yeah. All right.
Which era? The Soylent Green era or Planet of the Apes era?
Maybe Ben-Hur.
Okay.
Genghis Khan, and I see what John's referring to. And I know what
it's late.
I know
We're going a different.
I know what my cousin's gonna talk about, because first of all, remember I was 15. So I was 15 when I said this. I'm saying this live on the internet. I remember sitting there saying that I was just being a stupid teenager. When you're a stupid teenager, remember you just say the dumbest stuff sometimes. Sometimes I said that Charlton Heston has a cool butt when you got to see it. So
I want to see it, and I'm fine.
Hey, stupid teenager mind. Just saying the most shocking thing imaginable.
Yeah.
So anyway,
100 likes for Ted Sutton.
There you go. So yes, so John will share this on his social media so we can get 100 likes so he can interview Ted Sutton. Because if everybody really wants to see it, I mean, people have been waiting almost 11 years to see it on your channel.
Yeah. Well, in all kidding aside, look, if I ever had a chance or opportunity to talk to him, I'm not going to be confrontational about it. I would like to pick the brain of the guy that talked to Merrill Hess and Signs. I just want to.
You would, but yeah, that's why you send it to the last question. Do you remember back in 2013 when you said that Joel Kinnaman was the Laurence Olivier of our time? That's just all you have to word it like that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, John will share this out, and hopefully we get 100 likes, so John can finally interview Ted Sutton. The interview that I would say our little movie community has been waiting for.
You know what? This is going to sound a little crazy, but I have a feeling if that were to happen, if I had to talk or opportunity to talk to Ted Sutton, I can't imagine the views on that, because I've shared this story a few times over the years, and people would be curious.
You actually might get what number are you at now as far as subs?
530, I think.
So you might get, who knows? You might actually go viral then.
Yeah, I might get even Joe Kinnaman involved.
Right, and then if that video that you do for the Ted Sutton thing gets I don't know, 1 million likes, then you can reach out to Joel Kinnaman, right, and for an interview.
Yeah, he could pop in for a cameo.
There you go. All right, folks. So do all that stuff. John will share this subscribe to the Junebug Capos. Link will be down below. Both of us are tired, and you guys know, you guys know who you are, and I'm just going to leave all the links down below. And I would like to make zerocool a Junebug Capo.
Okay.
So I'll just basically be plugging all your stuff so that you share it on the community tab. So,
well, thank you for having me on. And I know, sorry if it got a little bit tired there, and a little bit silly, but it was fun.
No, that's okay. And Eric, it's too bad you can't join us. We understand you got school and you have to study. But yeah, no. Luckily, John and I have interacted before in stream, so it's not too awkward.
Yeah.
There was a few awkward moments just because there was some stuff going on at the house. But no, I think this was overall fun. So stay tuned for more episodes of Sit Down by the Fire. And anything you want to plug that you're doing on your channel?
Right now, I'm just working on reviews. Okay, so these are films that I've already pre-watched. Reviews to expect: Moscow Heat, terrible movie. The Dead Zone, The Monster Squad, Ticks, 1993, Vanilla Sky, The Time Machine, the original and the remake. So reviews for those coming up. The Craven Files at some point this month will be, I'm sure, recorded. I just don't know when. Other than that, I'm just kind of playing it by ear. And
I'm assuming the 2002 remake, right?
Yeah.
Not the 78 remake.
No. Well, I just got the original on Blu-ray today in the mail. So
yeah. As a quick little notice, you watched an Alexander Nevsky movie, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Now, do you think the script was just one final question? Do you think that the script was just bad and maybe Alexander Nevsky has talent? Or do you think he just needs to basically maybe not be producer of his movies? Like, do you actually think if he wasn't producer and he actually had a director like a James Cameron, because James Cameron truly made Arnold, well, arguably, right?
Yeah.
Do you think if he had a director like a James Cameron type, I'm not saying James Cameron, but you know what I mean? Do you think that type of director could make Alexander Nevsky an actual good star, or do you think he's just no?
I can't say because he was barely in the movie. Michael York was the lead character throughout the entire film, almost.
Yeah, wait till you see some of his other movies.
I'll pass.
But no, so check out John's channel. He's doing. I also know he's doing. We talked about it privately. You doing PayPal and Patreon, right?
Yeah, Patreon right now is for like general support and crediting, and I may go in there and at some point and add like a VIP tier, but I have to think about what I'm going to add to that. So
okay.
PayPal is for like, it's kind of like a tipping jar. If anybody wants to like reviews, commentaries, topics of that nature, but
John will when this is up, you can leave it down below in the comments. You can just leave the link to your PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, Venmo, whatever else you have. Whatever else is out there to send you money, right?
Right.
All right. Well, this was fun. Eric, we totally understand you couldn't join us. School comes first. You got to get that doctorate in filmmaking, because so you can be credited as Dr. Eric Vierthaler, which would be awesome. But yeah, see you guys later.
See you.